Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today we're talking about Jim Ryan and the interview he did with GI Live. So, if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get started with this. So, it was about, let's see how many days ago that was now. 2 days ago. 2 days ago, Jim Ryan had a sit down, like a fireside with GI Live, to talk about his role in PlayStation and how things have been going and what he would like to see in the future for the PlayStation brand. A lot of people are starting to kind of twist things and make things how they want them to do. I mean, me personally, I do kind of feel like Jim Ryan is the best person for PlayStation right now at this time as they continue to push forward and push through this period and to be able to grow PlayStation and the PlayStation brand outward more, because as it sits right now, PlayStation is basically beholden to their very own console. So unless they go out and start doing more with streaming or heaven forbid putting their games on PC and stuff as well, I don't necessarily think that they're going to be able to achieve that growth. The PlayStation 5 is very popular. It is a very well-built system. The most powerful PlayStation on the market today. I think this is probably even more powerful than PlayStation 3 when it launched. PlayStation 3 was a beast, but this one here is probably far more powerful as it sits right now out of the gate at launch. Definitely the most advanced technological. The cell chip was pretty impressive in its time. It went on to do pretty great things, I believe. So when we look at some of what Jim Ryan said in this interview, talking about he wants people to be able to experience Sony first-party games more like music and movies, I believe he means that. And the only way forward I can really see that, because essentially they're still in that console ecosystem, and until they make those moves to branch out, that's pretty much where their platform and base lies. So aside from streaming is one way to get them there, definitely, but I do see them doing more to combat Game Pass moving forward. I do believe that PlayStation is going to start its very own streaming service, or I think they're going to revamp PS Now and start putting first-party Sony games onto PS Now. I do not know if they will come day and date, because I think they should, though. I do. I believe that they should start putting those games on their day and date into a subscription service. Gamers like myself, we're still going to buy these games full price. We're still going to pay for them, for the most part. The one thing that does kind of make me a little iffy on the PlayStation model doing that is because a lot of their games are designed to be one and done. They pretty much are games that you're going to play one time and then not play them again. And if they go on to a streaming service, that could potentially maybe weaken the brand a little bit. But at the same time, maybe not. I don't know. Me personally, I think it should be. I think they should just do it and rip the Band-Aid off real fast. And this would really prove, if the Sony first-party games are really all they're cracked out to be, for sure. As the great Jaffe said himself, trial by fire. If more people don't have to pay that full price up front, you might see the completion rates on PlayStation first-party games going way down. I mean, at the end of the day, me personally, I do like and appreciate PlayStation first-party games. I really do. I love just how meticulous these games are when they launch. They are pretty decent. They're pretty good games when they come out. They're some of the leading games and visuals when it comes to them creating beautiful games and stuff. But at the same time, yeah, unless they're able to fully stock that model like Game Pass, with third party games as well. Um, Honestly, PlayStation has the potential to bring those great IPs into a service like Game Pass or Play Pass or whatever they would call it, and really go head to head with Microsoft on Game Pass for sure. I mean, Sony has the IP, Sony has the potential, Sony has the freaking the AAA freaking, well, some of the best developers out there on the planet that make these games. So I mean, in order for PlayStation to truly compete, though, their games would have to come out a lot faster than what they traditionally have. So I think that's probably why Sony hasn't been like so quick to jump into this race, to fight Game Pass. But the longer they wait, the stronger Game Pass gets, and that could be a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. Like if Sony keeps doing the model they're doing right now, and then all of a sudden it's like, you know what, we're gonna go ahead and compete with that, and then start putting their games into like a Play Pass day one. Man, Microsoft's already built this out to a certain extent to where people are actually starting to get onto the idea of, yeah, subscription service for games. Yeah, Microsoft's basically doing the legwork. Well, they took over the legwork from PlayStation with PS Now. PS Now did come out first. That was introduced so that you could play PlayStation 3 games on your PlayStation 4. And maybe some other back catalog games from PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 1 and stuff like that. But then moving forward, I mean, like they kind of let that flounder out. I mean, they did eventually start putting PS4 games on there. But at the same time, Microsoft did the rest of the legwork to go and really push it and really ramp it up and really get people invested into a service like Game Pass. So at the end of the day, the longer Sony waits, it's a double-edged sword, if you ask me. It's a double-edged sword. You've got your PlayStation fans that are going to be like, oh yeah, 100% PlayStation. They're going to support this. They're going to move forward with it. They're going to pay their monthly fee, and they're going to be able to experience this. Whereas on the other hand, you've got the guys that are still in between, that probably, I mean, some of them will catch. I mean, it's definitely going to catch on. I really do see. I really do see us in the future getting our games from a subscription service. It's definitely you're gonna need some some day one support from bigger brands like Take-Two and EA, but I mean, I'm assuming that they're gonna come around to that model pretty soon as well. I really do think the industry is shifting right before our eyes. Microsoft is definitely leading the charge. Sony's not dumb. Sony's pretty smart. They're looking at this. They're seeing the rapid growth. They're seeing that Microsoft is definitely changing hearts and minds. And their approach to the beginning of this generation with PlayStation's approach to this beginning of generation was like, we're going to market ourselves as like the Apple, the top tier gaming device and gaming platform, and that's pretty good. They can do that, but it does kind of seem a little not as consumer friendly as Microsoft's side, because Microsoft is like, hey man, yeah, our game's day one, Game Pass, no problem, man. We're gonna build these games out, and then coming out and showing the amazing Halo Infinite beta, like that is freaking solid. So when you get stuff like that in Forza Horizon 5, that's turning Sony's head to look over and be like, whoa, wait a minute. These guys really are going to compete at a higher level this generation than they ever really have before. Well, in Sony's eyes, and a lot in the community's eyes, because there is a lot of bad press when it comes to Microsoft, and I don't get it. After being in the Microsoft ecosystem now for the last 4 years, I've seen some stuff that I'm like, wow, man, this is actually pretty decent. This isn't that bad. So if Sony is going to get into this, I think that we're looking more at my interpretation of Jim Ryan's speech, or not speech, but that fireside is, yeah, they are looking into a real possibility of doing like a Play Pass, like something like Game Pass. They are definitely looking into that. Another edge, another two prong, another part of that strategy is going to be their games going to PC. Like they're going to start putting their games on PC day and date. All those things that were leaked, about like the Uncharted and all of that stuff, prior to it actually being announced for PC. We already kind of knew that. Like we knew that, but I do believe that Sony is really thinking about putting their games on a service, like a service like Game Pass. I do believe that is going to happen before the end of this generation. Whether that is going to happen sooner or later is probably, I would say by the end of next year. Maybe sooner. Maybe by Christmas or something. Maybe they'll do like a surprise, like, hey man, here you go. Sony's not gonna just sit back and let things happen. Like, let's put it that way. They're not just gonna sit back and be like, all right, well, Microsoft's raking in with 30 million subscribers, $300 million a month. Yeah, we want a piece of that. And I guarantee out of the 110 million PlayStation 4s, the 120 million or whatever, and the 10 million PlayStation 5 owners out there, people are gonna jump onto this service. They're going to pay that money every month. They're going to become a part of that, and it's going to change the gaming landscape in some pretty interesting ways going forward. Especially, I mean, if Nintendo was to get on board with this as well and start doing like a subscription pass for first party games, my honest opinion of that is, yeah, dude, if these first parties all do like a subscription based service to where you can download and play their games on your console, that is going to bring a lot of people to that platform. And if I like the way Microsoft's doing it, bringing in third party in indie. I really do. I think PlayStation would probably end up doing that too. And then you would see like competing, third parties trying to get on each system. I mean, you're going to see, like, everybody says that, oh, it's hurting developers. This is not hurting developers at all. I mean, maybe short-sighted. Maybe they might just, be taking the payout or whatever, to get their game out there so that they can pay their staff, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, this isn't hurting developers, because the more people that play and experience those games, that's an opportunity that these developers have to, hey, man, come and play our game. Take, for instance, Assassin's Creed, man. Brand new IP when it came out in 2007. Nobody had ever played this game before. This was a spin-off of, Prince of Persia. A lot of us played that game, and wow, I've bought every single Assassin's Creed game since. Day one, no questions asked. All it takes is that one game from one of these developers to pull that person in. Not only do I buy Assassin's Creed day one, but I buy Splinter Cell's day one. Well, Splinter Cell was the one that, kind of got me into the whole Ubisoft thing, in the first place. I played the Splinter Cell, and then I'm like, oh yeah, Ghost Recon, all of that. That's, now I usually buy every Ubisoft game day one, like no questions asked, like a lot of them. So all it takes is that one good game from one of these developers to where people see them and they're like, oh yeah, I got to play that. I remember that. That was a great game. Hey, they got another game coming out. Freak yeah, I'm going to buy that. I bought, what was it? Plague's Tale. The next one's coming to Game Pass. Like this, these are amazing times to be a gamer, and the value is getting better. Microsoft going out of their way to push Game Pass is going to drag Sony into that fray one way or another. Sony's coming in. And if you don't think that that's going to happen, just listening to the way that Jim Ryan talks and the way that Sony and the Japanese, the Japanese, Sony's their, well, PlayStation is Sony's biggest brand right now, I believe. And they want to grow that. And in the short run, yeah, it's going to cost them a little bit of money and investment. But at the end of the day, if they're getting that money back like Microsoft is with these subscriptions, that's better for us as gamers. That's better for the company to have a residual income that keeps coming in, and they don't have to, they still get to monetize these games going forward, because there's always a chance somebody's going to jump on and play that game, later down the road. They're still going to play it, and people are still going to buy these games. They're still going to, right out of the gate, sell whatever they were going to sell in the first place. When God of War launches, if it launches and Play Pass is already available, everybody's going to buy that game still. I'm going to buy that game. I'm going to add it to my collection. A lot of people are going to buy that game. And then a lot of people that were like, okay, yeah, I'm going to try it. We've already played the first God of War. We love that. We want to play the second one. Boom, our money's there. We're going to buy it. There's a lot of people out there that are going to download that game for free and play it. Well, not for free, for their subscription price. I think that when Sony launches this, they should launch it with either Horizon Forbidden West, Gran Turismo 7, or that new God of War. They should launch it. And every game that is coming timed exclusive to PlayStation, they should have a deal to get those games into their Play Pass as well. I think that's going to happen. The PC day and date, I'm hoping that it really does start with the next Horizon. I'm hoping that they were building that out at the same time. I really hope that is a possibility to get that pretty close to day and date for PC guys. At the end of the day, I want Sony to be, I want them to make money. I want them to continue to make and do what they do. I want them to. So I want them to be successful in this. I want Microsoft to be successful in what they're doing. I love Xbox. I love Microsoft for what they've been doing. It definitely has changed my mind and brought me closer to their ecosystem. And I do. I want to celebrate Xbox going forward. I do like what PlayStation does. I do. I love the games they build. And if there's a way that more people can experience these and play them, and they can continue to grow that business and be able to invest in these games, I would appreciate that. So, I mean, if you're a fanboy out there and you're freaking out about all this stuff, or you're like reading way too far into this, this is good for gaming. This is good for all of us. You need to get on board. Stop fanboying, because nobody cares about your plastic box. That plastic box right there and that plastic box, this plastic box right here runs Far Cry 6 a lot better. This plastic box does a damn good job at running it, though. If I only had this plastic box and Far Cry 6, I would still be happy, because I would never have seen the other one. As a matter of fact, I bought it on both consoles. I put a review out today. And it runs just fine on both of them. It feels great. It looks like the same game. It does look much more superior on the Xbox because of Dolby Vision and the higher resolution, but at the end of the day, it's still the same game. So if you like this content and you want to see more of it, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one.